Yay! Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Right? Hello, everyone. This is Mathew Heggem, artist, entrepreneur, and co-founder of Left Side Labs. I'm coming to you live today. It's hashtag Freedom Friday. Woo, 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 woo. Freedom Friday. We love it. And I thought, why not find a way to celebrate the liberation of humanity by putting a spotlight on someone in our community who's fighting the good fight. You, Emelina, that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Here with me, one of my good friends and collaborators, Emileena Pedigo, the CEO of Show Goes On Productions and the visionary, as I will call you, behind the hashtag Another Way Town Hall for the Arts. It's happening on January 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. at WeWorks in New York City, and we'll share the information with you in the comment section. But really what I wanted to do was take a moment to, first of all, have you, Emelina, introduce yourself to the followers of Left Side Labs, and then let's use that as an opportunity to talk a little bit about what we're going to experience at the town hall. So I'm going to turn it to you, Emelina, and ask you to share us a little bit about who you are and what you're dealing with in the world.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you so much, by the way. It is an honor to be interviewed by the Mathew Heggem, who I also consider equally a visionary. And I get much of my inspiration from. So thank you. As far as what I do, really, I'm writing a book about it's an expose of the arts in America and kind of how did we get here and what do we do while we're here. And then also I work with artists on in development, really this idea of what I call hashtag Another Way work, which is all about building another way for the arts as an industry. Hashtag one artist at a time. So the town hall falls perfectly into that. Yeah, does that kind of answer?
Yeah, that's perfect. Now, this is going to be a facilitated panel discussion and community dialogue with artists from multiple disciplines. And I know in some of the material about the town hall, you talk about unpacking exploitation and business in the arts, politics and funding. Can you tell me a little bit about sort of what we might expect to discuss or unpack at this town hall?
Yeah, well, so basically, it's issues from all industries, which fall under. Well, I would say so. What I saw basically, which kind of falls into why I wanted to do it, is that I see these controversies happening in every individual industry, but at the underlying themes, I think, is kind of this us versus them mentality. This idea of artists versus producers or record labels or gallery owners. And that, to me, there's obviously a lot of nuances, but it's really at the heart of a lot of these matters. So whatever issues are brought up, they're going to be personal. So I can't anticipate everything. I want people to bring up their personal issues. I know of some controversies that are happening in the theater and certainly in the music industry, but I've heard of things happening everywhere. So kind of my goal is to, I want to dissect this us versus them mentality, because I think that's actually only dividing us instead of bringing us together.
That makes sense. Now, I know you not just as a friend and collaborator, but also as a client. So Emelina has been helping me over the last, 6 months it feels like, unpack my transition as an artist through one of the sort of growth phases that I'm going through, which is awesome. And if you're curious, ping her to learn more about that. But I think one of the things that I wanted to highlight, Emelina, about this was you talk about a paradigm shift, and you said it earlier, hashtag one artist at a time. And I know because I'm working with you what it means to be, go through that one artist at a time experience. But can you just talk a little bit about what that paradigm shift is and why it's important that it's one.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that's the perfect follow-up question to what I was just talking about, because part of this paradigm shift, I think, is getting away from this us versus them mentality, actually. Because in the art, that this is what's breeding, I see a lot of exploitation. So the very first blog article I ever wrote was entitled which came first, the exploited artist or the insecure artist? So what happens naturally because of the systems that are there for the arts is that we tend to give our most, as an artist, our most important decisions over to like an other. For instance, our financial decisions or our business plan, even a lot of this stuff we give to an agent or a producer or an investor, you know, a record label, a gallery owner, whoever. These are the people who we tend to wait to pick us up, to discover us, and then we sign a contract away with them, and they are the ones making all our most important decisions, and they just give us a little bit of money. So part of this paradigm shift, I think, needs to be what I would like to see happen is artists empowering themselves. So they either they don't necessarily need an other, which I think is possible, right? But also, I don't think it's a bad thing to work with others. I mean, arguably, I am an other because I started as a producer. I am a producer. That's really what I do. So in some ways, I think I am an other. So I'm not saying others are bad, but what I'm saying is that I would like to see artists empowered so they understand those decisions when they hand them over to somebody else, and even better, make those decisions themselves so that they don't get caught in this exploitation trap. And I'm certainly not trying to blame the victims here for people who are getting actively exploited every day, you know, because I think, again, but I think it's a systematic problem. And instead of, I just don't see a lot of change happening when right now what I see is a lot of anger and blame. This us versus them, and they're all bad, and you know, maybe we can take out a player here or there like Weinstein. Okay, let's remove Weinstein, but that hasn't changed the system. The system is still there, and it's still happening because we are removing the players and we're not addressing the system. And I think the only way to create sustainable change in an industry or anywhere is to do it on the systematic level. And the only way to make systematic change that I can think of is to do it on an individual level, which means the one at a time. So if we individually empower ourselves, we will automatically be empowering the industry.
Got it. Cool. Yeah. So last question for you, and then we'll wrap it up. So I think what I appreciate about this upcoming panel is not just the fact that it sort of touches on different aspects of society and culture, right? But it also crosses over the boundaries of different disciplines. I think as a dance artist, I know I've been to many events where it was just dance artists. I know that there are events where it's just writers, and even within, even within those performance communities, they start to sort of segregate. Oh, you know, these are the postmodern dance artists. These are the uptown artists, right? So there's all this sort of segregation happening within our communities, and so having you bring it all together on this level as well is sort of interesting. And so I'm curious if you can tell us a little bit about who's on the panel and why you chose them to be on this panel.
Yeah, I think it's really important, for the record, to show people that there is a community, that in the spirit of the town hall, there is a community beyond like just dance, just theater, just music. We have a larger community, and I think it's important to tap into that to make it stronger. Nobody, it's hard to see or believe in change without seeing it. For instance, nobody knew we could have a Black president until we saw it. So part of this is to demonstrate, that there is community between all of this. As far as the panelists go, I personally handpicked people that I believed are gatekeepers in their industries, and also not just gatekeepers, but people who are actively pursuing #AnotherWay, which means they're not just submitting to the systems that are holding people back. They are working within the systems to build a better system. And I also believe that self-producing artists are really at the forefront of this whole us versus them battle, if you will, because the self-producing artists are the ones who understand both sides, right? Because they're doing the producing and they're the artists themselves.
Yeah.
So I think so all the artists in the panel are kind of self-producing artists, and or at least they have that mentality, and they're actively working within their industries and interacting with others in their industries, gatekeeper, to demonstrate this, what I would call another way. And it's different for everyone. Each one is doing something slightly different, but I think it's exciting and it's new. And I think it's a model that I would like people to recognize.
Word. And they're going to when they come to the event, right?
Dialogue and a conversation. Nothing about it is going to be telling, you know, we're not selling anything. It's just a platform for voices and to meet community.
Word.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
So that's the wrap on hashtag Another Way Town Hall for the Arts. Again, please join us. It's Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019. Start the year off right and on the right foot, a path forward, right? We've had a really rough year. Let's change that. Again, it's in New York City. Follow the event link in the comments section. Don't forget to share the Facebook event with your friends. And also, please remember to RSVP through the Arts Lab Meetup event page. Emelina, last words, final comments?
No, I just want artists to remember that they are never alone, even though it really, really, really feels like we're all alone in this, and that there is always hashtag another way.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Bye.